Hey everybody, I'm Mike the Man. Thank you guys for visiting my channel. So today I'll be doing something a little bit differently because I just finished listening to the Seth Rogers live stream. And I, like Deception Detective would say, it's a lonely existence to do statement analysis because you have to focus on the statements. You cannot let yourself be sidetracked, and you need to go through the language and see what it indicates. But having just listened to Seth Rogers was I don't mean to be negative or come off negatively. That's not my purpose. My purpose is to indicate, to highlight what somebody's language indicates. So my conclusion is not there to challenge anybody's hope. Nothing in life is 100%. What I am doing is sharing what somebody who apparently has guilty knowledge is really saying. And that shouldn't take away from searching and doing whatever you are led to do, whatever you feel called to do. Any of you listening out there, don't let me be the reason that you don't do something you would otherwise do. Let me put it like that. So, according to Seth and Tony, police know a lot, and they talked also about the so-called PI and the video he released, which Jennifer Coffindaffer said it is not ridiculous, is not strong enough of a word. It is really irresponsible to even air this tape that has already been debunked, which is being used now that, well, we're going to get to this in the analysis right now. So the timing is actually kind of right, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands the human aspect should be above everything else and is above everything else. My analyses, I am convinced of. I challenge them every single day. When somebody disagrees with me, which happened in the case of Bullhorn Betty, on her channel she featured 2 of my videos, and there was a small part that she disagreed with, a small part. It led me to check myself again and again. I am still convinced that the analysis that I have done as to what happened that particular night until the 3rd is accurate. And the one thing that we need to do is challenge our own analysis and also have other people with knowledge of analysis look at it and keep us in line, if you will. Because this is an ongoing research, this is an ongoing study. Everybody, every single analyst out there knows that the more you know you don't know. So I am now going to try to move right into this area with help of the analysis of this part of the interview that Chris and Katie Proudfoot have given. And it is about the tape. And Chris, well, he starts saying it's eye-opening, blah 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 blah. Chris is actually more able to remember and pretty neutrally, unemotionally speak a script. He doesn't have experiential memory or any types of emotional connection really to Sebastian and whatever happened that night to interrupt him, to interfere with it. You will also see him repeat himself times and times again. So many interviews where he says almost exactly the same thing. While in Katie's interviews, there are usually discrepancies. Things she leaves out. Things that she shouldn't leave out. And therefore, I will skip Chris's part because I have not seen anything particularly useful except a small area. And that small area, well, compared to, it's not important compared to what Katie Proudfoot has been saying. So there's a chance, of course, that once I'm done with Katie and there's something that I will revisit Chris. But I don't even remember what he said. It was not that significant. It was important. Everything in analysis, everything can have the answers. The answers can be everywhere. But Katie interrupted and said, no stone unturned. So she basically let Chris know now she's ready to talk again. And the interviewer asked something. And it was about the tape and what she said something like, Katie, we talked before about the tape and you said you're gonna go get to the bottom of this and so on and so on. So they had a very extensive pre-interview. They had it before. Chris Proudfoot does that. He doesn't go on anybody's program unless there is a very extensive pre-interview, and he wants the people to know that of course he didn't do nothing, and he is just a victim of all the online hatred and so on and so on. The interviewer's questions will reveal that he once again did just that. His priority is only himself and his life. Katie said, yeah, absolutely. Now the script will start. Anything that could possibly be something. She says anything twice. So she's building up towards something. That is her pattern. She says it twice when the emphasis kicks in. It's like saying, okay, pay attention. Okay, watch this one. This is going to be a good one. Listen up. Anything, but she chooses the term anything. Anything what? Nothing specific. That could possibly be something. Could and possibly. Could possibly. So that doesn't sound very hopeful, does it? Anything could possibly. Okay? We're not talking about anything out there. We're not talking about any possible evidence that is out there in this universe that may come her way at any given time. She's talking about a certain tape that has already been viewed again and again and again and again. And as Jennifer Coffendorfer has said, it should have never been on TV. And according to them, and according to me all along, this is a Sidetracking campaign. Look over here. Don't look over there. That's all it has been. And many of you well, let me say it like this. None of us is immune to get sidetracked. I remember having gotten from Lauren a few excerpts from some of these lives that are out there. And I realized how it impacted me. And when that happens, I'm not able to do a neutral analysis because I cannot really allow myself to like or dislike anybody too much. And I've seen it happen before where analysts have just zoomed in on Chris with video after video about Chris only and his abuse because it impacted them. But I cannot let something impact me to the degree where I don't allow myself to expect that somebody's telling me the truth. I can let them talk me out of it. But it's like when you do any type of scientific research, you confirmation bias. Because you cannot allow yourself to only look at the things that confirm what you want to happen. You cannot look at good or evil, because the good guy sometimes did it and sometimes the evil guy wasn't even there. So you need to always be extremely neutral and go at it from the inner freedom of saying, I don't know anything except what I have already previously analyzed and whatever I know to be factual for certain. So, yes, it was confirmed by them in the interview that for 72 hours it was treated like a runaway case. And Jennifer, I think it was, said within 24 hours every single one of them should have been polygraphed. Seth, Katie and Chris, every single one of them. Maybe, I'm not sure if she said Seth, but Seth took a polygraph, right? Or am I wrong about this? I don't know for sure, actually. But there was talk in the beginning, I remember, that nobody had been cleared. Maybe I'm incorrect. I mean, obviously Seth had no part in it. But I don't know what the procedure would usually be. And from what I understand, that the parents, even if they were not there, should always take a polygraph. Because statistically speaking, in a case like this, there's a likelihood that it was one of the parents. So, let me see what else. Yeah, the other thing that Seth said, Katie, or his ex, my ex, she wasn't always like this, indicating she changed towards Sebastian. It used to not be like that, but this is what I have also been saying, that her language indicates that she's grown cold towards him, cold towards the point where she just gave him up to Chris. And the thing is that, you know, he talked about, he gave Sebastian $20, $40 and handed him back to the family he was staying with. And Chris said he's not allowed to have any money. So he really, and that if Sebastian didn't do a good job cleaning his room, he would take Sebastian's toys, box them up and throw them away. And as Tony Mattis said, that is a permanent punishment. Jennifer said that her mom would take her toys and she had to buy them back for like 5 cents or something. Yeah, that's a recoverable thing. But Sebastian owned nothing. He was basically taught in this house that he is nothing. He has a right to nothing. Anything could be taken away from him. Yeah, that's you, Chris. That's what you did. And now you're playing the victim, terrorizing a young child, and now playing the victim. But again, he's eating humble pie now. And I'm convinced he's watching my videos. At least Katie is, and probably telling him, check this out. you really put your proud foot in your mouth on this one. Maybe next time you should just be quiet, because you're not helping anymore. At one point you need to cool down. We'll see how it all goes. But I truly, you can use the word karma or whatever. Things are coming around. So everything that he has done to Sebastian is coming back to him. I do think along such lines. And if I can be a part of it in terms of uncovering the truth or leading the investigators in the right direction, I'd be very happy to. So she said, yeah, absolutely. Anything that could possibly be something. Wow. That's like telling you there's really nothing that could lead us to him. To whom? To Sebastian? Why not say his name now? To him. You see? Now we're getting into a more serious matter. The sidetracking matter. And all of a sudden you cannot use his name because it's not him and it has nothing to do with him. With Sebastian, that is. We're gonna keep looking. Yeah, I'm sure. Keep looking as if you had been looking. And now she says we're gonna keep digging. Is that the bulldozer coming back into play? Didn't Chris make a statement? Oh, by the way, anybody that has a statement, if you come across it, could you just cut and paste it into the comment section? What exactly did he say about how to get rid of a dead body? You see, this doesn't necessarily mean it's what he did, but it means it had crossed his mind at one point. The question is when it crossed his mind. And about what? And in what situation? And what did he have in mind exactly? That is what is going to be interesting to me. So anything that you have, just copy and paste it. And I will look at it. I'll look at the comment section. I'm very thankful. Like I say, it's a lonely existence to do statement analysis. So it also, I appreciate very much the feedback from you guys. Yes, another comment that I had was, Chris probably thought, and Katie thought, no one would be looking for Sebastian except Seth. And I agree 100%. They thought that nobody would care one little bit about him. That was their expectations. When they were threatening, they were doing all kinds of things to keep people from searching. And then things died down and they thought, all right, now we can live our life. Until Doug the bounty hunter came along. And guess what? Suddenly the people who haven't heard about the case were hearing about the case. And they were coming back to reactivate the minds of the people who had heard the first case before. And suddenly the case came back to life and Sebastian came. Like I say, I don't want to offend or upset Seth with what I'm about to say, with what I was about to say. But whether he is living or not, which is really strange, but it can happen that when somebody's gone, suddenly he becomes alive more than ever before. And I also want to say something else. Chris probably has too much pride to ever do a day in jail for whom he referred to, you a little retard. He probably thinks he doesn't deserve, no matter what okay, this is my opinion only, but no matter what role he may have had, if it's only, okay, I don't know anything, right? Okay, that's my disclaimer. So he's gonna sing. He's gonna cut any deal, anything. And he's gonna break. Katie will never break. She is, in my opinion, a true sociopath who will never break and rather be institutionalized or just go completely medicated or insane before she will say what happened. That is my prediction. She will not say anything and Chris will say everything. But they're gonna plead, who knows, mental illness or whatever they're going to try on her, allegedly, if it comes down this way, the path. So yeah, they think that could lead us to him. Okay, she's not using a name, then she talks about we're gonna keep digging. Okay, did you already keep digging? Was there digging involved? Do you know something about that? And keep finding. Finding what? Stuff like this video that has been debunked already by law enforcement, that there is absolutely nothing. Jennifer Coffindaffer is retired FBI, and I don't think she would make these statements unless she is certain about something. Nick, what's his name? Nick Barris, he said something very similar, even though he retracted some of his other stuff, but I don't even want to get into this. I believe the evidence. Anything else I'm not very interested in. And confirm if it is or isn't. So she's telling us what she's going to do. This is like a promise, or it's something. Well, it is a script, because this probably still includes that as being at least part of or an extended part of the script. And keep finding what? More tapes, and confirm if it is or isn't. You can just say if it is. Confirm if it is. That would include, oh, okay, it isn't or isn't, but the isn't is right there. Because she knows it isn't. Now, when we know some facts and then have statements, of course, hindsight statements are very easy, but what they do, they serve us in predicting patterns or determining certain patterns people have when they either lie, when they fabricate something, or when they try to make something look or appear like it is what it is not. So this is interesting that she tells us if it is or isn't, because she knows it's not, and she includes that. Because, I mean, if it's possible, she's giving us more and more hints that there's absolutely nothing. Then it's got to be confirmed. Look at Seth and his hope. He is hopeful. Seth is 100% hopeful. But not Katie. She's not excited about this. She doesn't say, oh my gosh, please, 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 hurry up. And Chris said something like, oh, maybe the Secret Service was... Really? The Secret Service? Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but are they not there to protect our president? And to go or if there's terrorism involved or a terroristic threat or something, if you threaten the life of somebody in the government? I don't know, because maybe I'm wrong, but maybe Secret Service was involved. I'd be more than happy to be proven wrong about this. Then it's got to be confirmed. If it's possible, it has to be confirmed. No, if it is actually truthful, if it's actually a lead, it needs to be confirmed. It has to be confirmed if there is we don't think negative. Seth is not thinking negatively. Who cares if it's confirmed? Okay, there's nothing here. Okay, great. But move on. Next. But if it's possible, what? Do you want to confirm that it's possible? Yes, she wants to have confirmation that there is a possibility that this is Sebastian or this is somebody who took Sebastian. She wants that possibility out there to sidetrack you further. That's exactly what she wants. She wants confirmation. It could be something. It could be Sebastian. She wants the possibility. And remember what Chris said, and I've analyzed that part previously. I've actually written down. We went from possibly having no sighting or no lead to possibly having a sighting or something like that. Possibly not having it to possibly having it. The possibility of something not being there. They want the possibilities out there. They want you to look everywhere in every single day. Where do you search? Everywhere. Go waste your time. Go go out there. Go out there and just turn no stone unturned. Like Katie said, no. Doesn't matter if it is reasonable or not. Just go waste your time over there. Go through a year later, like the so-called PI. Go through some woods and so, I don't even want to get into that because it is so absolutely ludicrous that, you know, Jennifer tried not to, you know, be personal. Of course, she actually probably knows the guy, at least according to some of the ex-Twitter conversations that I have seen. So, her intention is to sidetrack you. And her message to you is, please believe it's possible. We're gonna keep looking, keep digging, keep finding and confirm. Yes, keep finding what? Keep finding more ways to sidetrack with the help of your so-called PI. That's exactly what Katie wants. And that is her goal right now. And the journalist asked her, we have talked about this earlier, that it is very important for you to look more into this. What she wants is for you to look at it and say, oh, but maybe it is. But what if? Let me spend a few hours, nobody does that, but let me spend a few minutes. I could be focusing only on what is important to rewind it, enlarge it. And then be so tired and frustrated that you forget about the case and for 2 or 3 days don't look at it. Later on she will tell you, you're the hater and she wants you to pause. Stop, that's all she wants. She's not telling you you're wrong with anything, but she's telling you, because once again, the lady is asking, what is your message to the people who may think you have something to do with this? And Katie, sure enough, goes right for it and says everybody should pause. That is something that the pre-interview already, they made sure that this tape from the so-called PI is mentioned. And no matter how disproven it already is, she wants new people or whoever is interested in the case to look at it and think, wow, they're working on a new lead. Let's lean back. Let's not do anything. Let's not worry about it. Police got this. No, police already said there's nothing there. This has nothing to do with Sebastian. That's been confirmed already. So she wants a confirmation. It could be possible, at least in your mind. So now she says, I pray that if there's anything even remotely, what do you mean remotely? How remotely? Out in the stars? Out in the heavens? Out in the oceans? What do you mean in it? I pray that if there's anything even remotely in it that could help us find Sebastian. No, we already know. And I trust Jennifer on this one. There is nothing there. Because the emphasis she put on it coincides with what Nick Barris said and what we've already learned that has been around the tape. Even though Chris Proudfoot in his lying statement said, I can't believe it's taken a year for us to get that or for that to even come out. No, it's been out for almost a year. Yeah, maybe you haven't seen it, maybe we haven't seen it, but that's been already confirmed, right? That the tape has been around, so he's trying to make you be. But again, Chris is not even worth looking into. Only I'm looking at him when Katie is silent, or once in a while when he's filling in some blanks and puts a foot in his mouth. Sometimes I have to go back to him. And especially, like I say, I'm doing this now after hearing what he did to Sebastian, how terrible things were. And I'm glad that I don't have too much from him, because I don't want to even, I'm rather gonna focus on Katie right now, having learned what I have learned. So even remotely in it, that could help us find Sebastian. I pray. What are you gonna do? You tell us all the time you're praying. Are you praying? That it is, I don't know how to word it. Oh my God, look, she gets stuck. How stuck she gets. What was she asked? About the importance of the tape. Why it is important to her, right? Was that the question? But it's followed up and found out and confirmed one way or the other, because Katie. Now she can lie to you so well, and she will never admit to it. That's sociopathy. True, sociopathy is a real thing. People throw around words like narcissist and psychopath and insane, and sociopathy is a real thing, and according to most of the scientists that have looked at it, there is no cure for it. You're stuck in this channel. You'd rather go on X like OJ, acting like nothing happened, like Casey Anthony right now. She's acting like now she's an advocate now for LGBT. She acts like nothing happened. She's talking about protecting victims. She doesn't live in reality, and neither does Katie Proudfoot. I pray that if it is, I don't know how to word it. How come you don't know how to word it? But it's followed up, and she messes up when she is in the script and somehow expected to say more than the script has been prepared for. That's when she fumbles. She cannot continue. I pray that it is, so she uses prayer again. I don't know how to word it. She tells you again, I don't know how to word it. Because you were not prepared to get another question about hope and this tape and what it means to you. You didn't expect it. You expected only to just say, you wanted a possibility confirmed. You want just another red herring out there. That's your goal. That's the goal of the tape, the release of the tape, in a way that it looks like we have a new lead when we don't. That's a dead end, people. Make sure that anybody out there knows that. If you have a following, if you share my videos, if you let people, just speak the truth and let it speak for itself. It'll spread. Don't need to argue with people. That's one thing I don't think anybody should do. And even Tony said if their private investigator they have one, if she went online to bash Katie, immediately they would get rid of her, because that's not your job. It's not your job to go online and bash the other parent. I pray that if it is not, you see that she did that many times on patrol as well. So, but it's followed, so she's messing up her sentences, and it's followed up and found out and confirmed one way or the other, because sure enough, the just leads Chris to immediately take over. The just is probably their signal, their safe word. Let's say it like that. Yes, safe word. That's the right word, right? That's the safe word. Pretty. This is, I think, the third time now that the just happened right before, or very shortly before, Chris finally kicked in and took over. And of course he makes it like, he says, he reheats old scripts and brings in a couple of new ones and says, and so on and so on, with law enforcement doing what they can. Well, what can they do? Are they doing their best, doing everything they can, or no, what they can? It means don't worry about it if you can't do. This is similar to what Katie Proudfoot wrote about her son being missing initially. Remember that? If you can, if you have cameras, and if you are able and willing, by all means don't strain yourself. It's not that important, right? Isn't that the message? That's what it sounds like to me. There is no push for urgency. You're not encouraging people. You're not supposed to accept anything other than other people's empathy, compassion, and a shared sense of urgency when your child is missing. And you are expected to be as selfish as you possibly can be in that moment. And anything but. When she talked about other children have the same right to be found or being brought home, if not more than Sebastian. Yes, Katie, we know. I had listened to this interview before, and I don't remember exactly at what part it comes in. I think it'll be an upcoming part. I don't think I skipped it. Somebody said, did you skip that one? No, I think I messaged. You know what? I used it actually in one of my first videos about this interview, where I did the brief overview in terms of what stuck out to me. And believe me, that stuck out to me. Now, your child is missing. And what? What did you say? The others may deserve to be found even more? Yeah, because your son will not be found. And he's beyond help. That's what it tells me, And I'm not here to be negative, but everything that she says indicates that there is no, that there, what I'm trying to say, I would say so again, what would you say to the haters, Katie? I would say to pause and to think, and I would say, and again, would. Would, and should. There are many more woulds. I will probably start right here in my next video and write it all down. But I wanted to make sure I get this part into this particular video. I would say, well then say it. Don't tell us what you would say. And I want to say, and I would say, she doesn't want to say anything. She would say if she had something important to say. But she doesn't feel comfortable even saying it because it's not so much her style to ask people to stop. So that's something that she feels like she has to do. So she says, either I want to say or I would say, because she feels not comfortable right now. So she talks to us about, I would say to pause and to think, and I would say to consider the sources of information. Well, later she mentions rumors and so on, but first she says the sources of information. Really, the sources of information? Okay, if it's information and not disinformation or misinformation like your PI puts out there, then these sources should be good, right? If it's actual information. Another thing she brings in there is everyone should pause. Yes, everyone should just forget about it. Because there's only two people of interest right now, two main people of interest. And you don't want to be those people. And your idea of putting a stop to this is for everybody to pause.